Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neeley Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neeley family. Check them out online at neeleyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss Beka Neely's new foray into blending. My name is Justine Mays. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Darren McRoy, Matt Modica, and Goeken.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey there.
Hey y'all.
Hello. So, we're going to be talking today about Beka and getting into blending. I think it's a pretty cool thing. It's been really great to see her evolution in this business from someone who was a moderate bourbon fan to becoming a big-time bourbon fan to becoming a part of the industry. We'll talk about that journey after the break. But for right now, Goeken said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, sir?
Yeah, so the weather has, as we record this, turned a little cooler again, and I got the hankering today for soup, and it begs a question. Do you have a temperature that, if it's not below 40 degrees, then we don't eat soup? Like, do you eat soup at any temperature, any time of the year, or is it only a cold weather thing?
Okay.
Does chili count as soup?
For these discussions,
chili,
we're going to say yes.
Chili's, yes.
Okay.
Does cereal count as soup? No.
No.
Does oatmeal count as soup?
No. Stop this.
Ironically, we had soup tonight. So we had a tortellini soup that Linda made. It was actually incredible. So it's the same reason. It's colder, and it's just it's one of those feel good kind of things. I don't know if we have a temperature, but I'd say good 45, 50 degrees maybe. Right when it starts to get there, you're kind of like, okay. I think I'm ready. Yeah.
I think, in the dead cold of winter, perfect. It's not even a discussion. Your soups, your chilies are perfect. I do think, and again, this is kind of in that situation now, I like the transition in fall when it's been warm and then it starts getting cold. It's like there's this crispness in the air. It's like, oh, this is chili time. It feels good. And I think you're kind of experiencing almost the same thing in spring. It's a little bit of reverse that we had some warm weather and then it goes back to cool weather. It's like, oh, now it's kind of that during the transition from warm to cool, even though this is just temporary. I think that it makes it viable, and I think that's when it's good to do it.
So I don't think the temperature actually matters.
Oh, God.
Besides the soup being hot, I think, but I'm not going to eat it when it's 95 degrees, sunny, no wind, anything. But anytime that it rains more than an inch, soup is acceptable. I don't care what the temperature is. When it is a rainy day, it could be 90 degrees outside, and soup is still acceptable, especially if you're doing...
what if it's a steamy rain, a July rain?
Yeah, and fine.
It's steamy. More than an inch. Walk outside and you start sweating because it's steamy.
I don't eat my soup outside. It's like how people say summer isn't whiskey weather. I do drink whiskey outside, but that's not where I primarily drink it. I drink it in the air conditioning of my house. So as long as the vibes are dark and gloomy, soup is good. But I think you have to switch from like heavy chilies and stews to chicken noodle and lighter
chicken
soup.
with stars.
Yeah. The alphabet soup.
The alphabet soup is good.
Fantastic one.
SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs.
No, SpaghettiOs are okay year round, and we do not take SpaghettiO slander here. SpaghettiOs are the best.
Oh, yeah. Andrew Weebrink makes it for himself. He loves SpaghettiOs for lunch. I would love to be working with Weebrink in the cafeteria, and he gets out a little Tupperware bowl with his SpaghettiOs. Yes. I would fucking die laughing. But he would care. I guarantee you that happens. He talks about how much he loves SpaghettiOs. It happens. I just don't work with it.
Taco soup's very acceptable in the summertime. That was the other one.
I just saw that I was watching the Bourbon reminiscing, and him and Bronner talking about SpaghettiOs. No,
Bro,
that's horrible.
That's good drunk bro. Watch Bourbon reminiscing if you haven't seen it. It's on the Bourbon Sasquatch YouTube channel. And it is fantastic. And the best part of it is there's a couple really cool parts about it. And Bronner and Weebrink is hilarious.
Probably the best.
That is really good.
So good.
Yeah.
Papaw's stuff is really good.
Papaw's really good too. Yeah. That's good. There's a lot of good. Mike the bartender. God, he's good. I mean, just because of the way he has such strong opinions on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Things that you wouldn't even think he would know about. He has very strong opinions on it. And you can't get him to change his mind. There's nobody that's ever had a discussion with Mike, the bartender, and got him to change his mind. Nobody. No. Yeah.
He was absolutely, totally, he would be okay with Kate up in the night, but in the morning she was gone. And he was good. He said he gave some girl a couple $2 to go into McDonald's to get breakfast and shut the door and took off.
She's like, why don't we go through the drive-thru? No, I prefer my food from the inside, thank you. And then she goes to get it. There he goes. Yeah. Let's go. Check out Bourbon Reminiscing. It's underappreciated. Not many people have seen that, and it is one of the gems. We were trying to make a TV show, and we thought that's going to be the next big thing, but it didn't work out that way. Justine was part of that too. Her and Bo were on one of those. Bo got
we had to go after Weebrink and
Connor.
That was like hard. The worst spot to be in.
Yeah.
First of all, my face fucking hurt from laughing so goddamn hard. And then to just like follow that, like everything that we said was like blah compared to the they came
compared to those two. Yeah. Yeah. Justine, you didn't weigh in on the topic yet. I don't remember what the topic is, but if you do, please
I wouldn't say that I shy away from soup during the warmer
soup
times of the year. It's not my go-to, although if I'm in air conditioning, I don't take into consideration what is happening outside. I will eat soup.
Sure.
But I definitely,
because you're the type that's freezing all the time. So
yes.
Yeah, it can be 95 degrees outside and someone has the air conditioning set on 78 and you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. It's so cold.
Oh, geez.
My house is 64, but I also am sitting under an electric blanket.
Yeah. She came to my house when it was 64. She claimed she was almost dead. She had to go sit in the bathroom and close the door because there's a vent in the bathroom, so it gets the same amount of heat that another bigger room has, but it's the size of a bathroom.
I used to fight Leo for the bathroom vent.
Yeah, there you go. Leo knew.
But definitely during the fall and winter, I definitely go for like soup, chili, beef stew, all of that, like hearty, like keep you warm stuff.
Heck yeah. All right, Matt, you asked the question. You have to have, or no, Goeken.
I didn't, but I can ask.
Goeken did. You already weighed in on it, right?
I
think you did too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Goeken asked it. No, Darren asked it. Darren.
Oh yeah. Soup is very important. You can only eat it when it's
Goeken asked
outside.
Goeken asked it.
If you're eating
Stop
it while you're cold,
you're doing a bit now. You're taking advantage of a very old man who can't keep track of where he's at. Goeken, you asked the question.
Yeah, I'm very much. I don't think I usually cook soup in the summer, but early fall through spring, and anytime I think the rain, the gloominess, like just today's kind of a blah day. You know what? I kind of think I want some soup. I don't feel like cooking anything else. Yeah. So we made up a soup, and when we get done recording, I'm going to go eat.
Gonna go eat some soup. All right, fair enough. Because you're here not by your own choice. I didn't even ask you. I just sent out the show notes with your name in it.
No, he just. I was like, wait a minute.
I've been in sales for years. Yeah. That's how it works. It's called
that's a solid close.
It's the presumptive close. You assume that, you just envision it to happen, and there you go. You send it out, and you were like, I can podcast.
It's like vibes.
Just like Steve assumes that I'm going to fill in for Beka every time.
Oh, yeah. Of course she is. Of course she is. I just bought her a very nice birthday gift. That's got to score me some points. That's got to score me some points. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool, I had to have it imported. That's how good it was.
Ooh. Yeah, it came from Liverpool, England.
Yeah. Ooh, you know someone cares when they're buying
the tariffs.
Liverpool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got it right in under that. So, yeah.
Right in under the tariffs.
It slipped in under the tariffs for sure. So, there you go. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Darren this time. I don't think you've gone first. What do you got there, dude?
I got Boxing Bear Broken Plow.
Okay. Nothing there. Nothing left in that cork.
No.
Nothing left. Goeken, you're next.
I have the Neeley 4-grain. Beka's first blend. I'm going to try the, you say down low, right? And then cork, right? No,
that was quiet.
That doesn't do any.
That's quiet. By the way, the low is hold the bottle low, not put it low. There.
Oh,
hold the bottle low. She says the reverberance from holding the bottle low is better. It stifles it if you put it up here. It's like if you put your hand on a bell. She says, like if you hold it just at the base of the bell, it's. I don't know. She was winning the cork pops doing that, but we'll see.
I love how we were all trying to put them on the ground.
I'm afraid if I hold it at the bottom, then I'm gonna drop it or spill it or something.
Go ahead, Justine. You're next. Officially.
Oh, I was next. I thought you were going.
No.
All right. So since we're talking,
I didn't say it. I just willed you were going to go.
Oh, you just willed it into the universe.
I willed it. Justine, go.
Since we're talking about Beka blending, I thought I would get out my blend that I did for the ABV. I can't even talk now. ABV Barrel Shop.
Okay, there's our leader. That was solid.
That's our first real cork pop of this show. Good job, Justin.
That could be enough to win this thing. We'll see. Matt, you're up next.
I have got the Hidden Barn Small Batch 23B. Last bottle of this that I have, unfortunately. So.
Okay. Not as good as Justine's. She still has the lead. I've got Hardin's Creek, the Golden Origins. Bought this on the same day I got to hang out with Freddie No. I thought that was worthwhile. Give me a moment as I take the strap off this thing. That takes just a second here. All right, got to get that thing off there. Look at that. Okay, we'll unstrap that, and then we can release the cork. Here we go. Brand new bottle here. Let's see what we got. Oh, that was solid. No, I didn't get my usual Akeley squeak or anything. That was just nothing but victory. The sound of victory. So cheers, gang.
Nothing but net. Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Beka and the blending that she's doing. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neeley Family Distillery. Royce Neeley is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neeley Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neeley arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neeley and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neeley Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeeleyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
This is New Guy. To set the record straight, all my cookies are made from scratch, not slice and bake. And you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back. Today on the show, we are talking about Beka beginning her blending journey.
Yes, we are. So Beka comes to the ABV network as a private citizen who posted a video about trying to swallow some dimes in a drunken stupor at a bar late night one night.
Was it dimes? I thought it was nickels.
It was dimes. Swallowing dimes. The famous swallowing dimes video. And she doesn't post a lot on Instagram, so if you go to her Instagram page, you can find it out there. It's not buried too far. So she talks about trying to swallow dimes. And then I got to see the full thing. So I just sent her a message. Becca and I had followed each other for years, but I never interacted at all. I never said a word to her. But when I just said it's funny, and she's like, "You want to see the whole video?" I'm like, "Sure." Yeah. So then she sends me the whole video, and it's hilarious. So I got to see that, and then she comes on the show and does a great job, and then becomes a co-host eventually, and she's a mainstay here at the ABV Network. We wouldn't be where we're at without Becca. She's certainly a big-time contributor to where we're at today. But along the way, she meets Royce Neeley, and those two fall in love, get married, and she begins working at the distillery and starting out as a barrel coordinator there, for barrel picks and stuff like that. And now she's taken the next step to do some blending. So, and she's got training in that, both on the job, as well as working side by side with Royce, as well as working side by side with Jackie Zykan too. So the combination of all of those things has trained her to where she's at today, where she can begin doing some blends and things like that. And she's done her first one, a 7-barrel blend that is out now. And she's planning on doing some more. She's got her next one she's working on already. So this, it'll be a while till it comes out. It's not like this is coming out next week or anything. You got to sell through that first one. But so it's pretty exciting to not only see the journey that Becca's gone through and to see her evolve like this from kind of being this crazy person that was swallowing dimes to being somebody who's pretty well respected. I mean, for God's sakes, Goeken and I watched her presenting her whiskey to none other than Fred No, and he got to taste it and he said it was great. This is great whiskey. So, I mean, I just think I'm in awe, kind of, to some degree. I'm in awe of what she's been able to accomplish. It's so cool to see. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah.
So to go along with how awesome Miss Beka Sue is, and even though she never yells at me, this is not forced at all. I was at a pick earlier this week, and the guy that was working there had met her at New Orleans Bourbon Festival and said, "Man, she is amazing. Her palate, the things that she can pick up on a whiskey is out of this world, and her knowledge is different." And this is a guy that has nothing to do with Neeley Family Distillery.
Right.
They're barely even close. But he literally could not stop talking about how amazing Beka was at her job, and because he's kind of in a similar job, and he's like, "I don't think if she was here, I think I would be out of a job so quick." Like, that was literally his words, that if she was at his distillery, he wouldn't have a job. So
yeah. She's kind of become a force and her own brand within the Neeley family brand at this point. I mean, she obviously is part of the family, and certainly she's part of that team, but she's also her own thing too. I mean, she's well known in the business. So it's pretty interesting to see that. And in some cases, some people come to see her at the distillery, not necessarily Royce, which is fun. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry, I was talking.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry. So I'm relatively new to the whole bourbon and whiskey thing. So the blending component, right? I mean, I understand the concept of it, but it's obviously more than just taking a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right?
Right.
So what else is involved in it? I mean, obviously the palate and her palate has to contribute significantly.
I can talk to some of this to some degree, but I can also lean on Justine here too, is a great blender in her own right. And again, never has done it professionally, but I've seen her do a lot of amateur work at this. And again, it's a combination of a good palate and be able to see things a little bit differently. You know, I can explain some of this, Matt, but it doesn't help. I think there's an innate skill in people that can do this, that have something that we don't have. But I'll get into what I mean by that in just a second here. So I think Beka, has that, as does Justine. And what Beka has been able to do as the person who's in charge of barrels. So again, she goes to work at Neeley because she's married in the family. It's a family business. Everybody has a job there at the distillery. Her job was to coordinate the barrels. So she's got to begin to taste the barrels. And again, people will be like, I'll do that job in a second. Well, fine, whatever. We'd all do that job, but are we good at it? That's a different story. So her job is to not only taste the barrels, keep notes on them, so know what they are, revisit them because they do evolve in the barrel, and then of course make some calls. You got to work with Royce because he's the owner of the company. He's the master distiller, but you got to be like, hey, I think this barrel's ready to be put into the single barrel program, or I think this might be a release that we want to do, in the gift shop here. Or as she got to really know enough barrels and had enough notes, she was like, hey, we can start doing some blends here. We can take several barrels and combine them. And what you're trying to do with that, Matt, you're trying to take the individual components. Again, she knows what the barrels taste like, but you're trying to elevate by combining them to make them even greater than they are separately. So you're trying to create by combining the whiskey that's going to have the nuance of this one. It's going to have the spice of that one. It'll grab a sweetness maybe on the finish from this one. And you're trying to create this profile by combining different resources, and that is different barrels. I don't have the ability to do that in my mind. I can taste a lot of good whiskeys, but I don't, in my mind, nothing ever tells me, man, if I put these together, I might get this unique taste. I don't have that. But when you talk with Beka, she has it. And even Justine, I've seen her do this stuff too. And she'll be like, you get this kind of flavor profile in your mind, maybe is how I see it, at least how I think it works. And then, because I've seen Justine, I need a little bit more of this one in here, and I get what I'm looking for. I don't know how that works, Justine. I don't know if you can even put it into words, but if you can shed any insight on how a blender goes about blending, that would be great.
I think it depends on the route that you like, the final product. Like, I think if I remember correctly, Beka said that Royce told her to blend this and that she had to use the 4 grain and then like to go along with it. So like he had an end product that he wanted to use and to like go for. But I think it depends on if you're going that route or if you just kind of want to make up your own. Like when we did the blending contest during COVID, when the samples were sent, like all of the bottles were labeled like what it was in there. And when I did those blends, I literally just wanted to go off what was in the bottle. I didn't want to be like swayed. Like I am more of a rye person. And yeah, I can pick out like which one was the rye by taste or whatever, but I didn't want that to just like immediately go for it. So like I faced all of the bottles like with the label facing away from me. And then I like tasted through all of them and like rated like what order I like them. Then I tasted back through them and started to do like the nosing notes and the tasting notes. And then I just kind of like picked what would go with what and just kind of went from there, and then like altered it. Like if it was too smoky, then I would add a little bit more of this. If it was too this, then I would add that.
Are there
I think what?
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it just depends on what, like if you know you have a finished product that you want to go for, then obviously it's probably a little bit different than if you're just making something up as you go along.
Yeah.
Are there certain characteristics that inherently go together? And at the same time, are there certain things that as you're tasting it, you're like, well, you don't want to put those two together because they're I don't know if they're polar opposites, and you won't be able to pick either one of them out, or they'll meld and make something just awful.
I wouldn't necessarily, like, I don't think I know that, like, right off the bat. I kind of, like, have to figure that out just by adding it.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I think, it is, but there are things that inherently go together. Sweet and spicy is a great example because it hits on the palate different. Sweet is up at the front of the palate, spicy will hit at your back. So it's good when you can get one that hits on both of that. And that's good. And then you often see they put just, and it tends to be the lowest amount, and which is good because it's also harder to get, but some older whiskey in there to give it that classic notes that you can only get if it's been in there extra aged. So a lot of blends will have a couple of their older barrels in there too, or parts of older barrels and things like that, depending on how big the blend is.
So do these scale well, right? So I'm assuming when you're doing that, Justine, that you're doing it with small samples, right? And you're saying, well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe you're measuring. I'm assuming you're measuring amounts and things, maybe. So I mean, does that flavor profile really scale when it goes to full production, or is it pretty consistent, or is it not?
I think if you're taking accurate measurements, the chemistry should be accurate as well, and the flavors should be accurate. If you're putting the same ingredients in, if you take 2 eggs and some pepper, you're gonna have peppered eggs. That was an awful example. That was just the first thing on my mind. But like, it's like cooking. You don't change the recipe when you're trying to cook more. You just put more into it to get that same flavor that you're wanting, right? And I think that applies to most of them. I'm sure there's some weird circumstances out there that you blend things together, and some of those subtle notes get lost in volume or something. Like maybe
you hear that in baking. You hear, scaling up from a baker's recipe from a commercial bakery down to just baking a cake for yourself. That's tough to do. And so you're doing the reverse of that here. You're starting out with the small side of it. So I'm sure there is some changes that inherently are going to happen, but for the most part, it's the best you can do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
once that whiskey hits the other one, it's over. It's going together. So it's all you can do.
I think it's probably different, like when you're at the distillery and you have like unlimited bourbon or whatever, that you can like, oh, I screwed this sample up, I'm just going to go grab some more. But definitely just having like smaller bottles, obviously you don't want to make too many mistakes. But yeah, I mean, you have to like measure it out and like, oh, well, I put this much in and I have to fill a 50 milliliter sample bottle to give for, to pick the sample from. And so then you have to do the math from your tiny little sample that you made to taste to put it into the bigger. And I mean, I don't know that any one that I've ever done has been exactly the same as the little tiny sample that I made to try it, but it's been pretty close.
And Justine's at a disadvantage too, in that she doesn't work for a distillery, so she's done these blends and things like that. Whereas a Beka or someone else that's doing, they'll get to taste like the product as they're all put together in the big batch, if you will. And there may be some need to. Oh, I thought that was going to be a little spicier at the end there. There's the opportunity to then put in some more to get to that point. Whereas Justine's doing a recipe that's done up front, so it's a little bit different for her too.
Yeah.
And I think when I did the blend for the one that you guys did at the shop, I think I made like 5 different blends, and then you guys picked
it out like a barrel pick. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just tasted the different ones and we picked out the favorite one. So yeah. So
this says batch size 7. I'm assuming that's like 7 barrels.
Yes.
But
7 bottles.
But so as you're going through this and you're like, okay, well, we need this much of this one, and you've got 7 barrels, so you've got 16.5% or something of each. So you're not going to end up with 7 barrels, right? If you had 7 barrels that you started with, if you're only taking 20% of
it depends on who you're talking about too. So if you're talking about barrel, where they're a blending company, they have a master blender, they're going to take those exact percentages. I would assume when you're talking, and again, I don't know for sure, but I would assume when you're talking about Neeley and doing a blend, they're having Beka pick up front and then decide what barrels go together, and then putting those 7 barrels together to taste that. And again, it's not necessarily equal. So hers wouldn't be an exact science like they're doing at barrel. At barrel, they're doing a true blend where they're going to only get 13% of this in there, because that blend comes out perfect when there's 13% in there. I believe Beka and a lot of other people that are doing blends out there are doing whole barrel blends. So those percentages, are based on the barrels. So she's tasting them, she's putting the barrels together, which barrels go together, and that's how they're doing it. So it's not as exact science as what a barrel company is doing, or others. There's other.
Gotcha.
Barrel isn't the only example that does it like that, but yeah, I would assume the smaller ones are just putting together entire barrels. So they're not taking out, all right, I'm going to take out 14% of this barrel, or whatever. They don't do it that way at Neeley and a lot of the other ones. So that's another factor too. So, yeah. What else?
I remember. So my dad used to. So we have big Italian family. His mother had tons of recipes, right? And so for a while there, he actually marketed and did spice blends and spaghetti sauce that he sold at Straub's and some of the local markets here in town. And I remember him trying to work this, right? Like real time of like, okay,
Right.
well, take this small batch or relatively small batch and then make it into a commercial sized kitchen recipe, and working through the nuances with that. And there was just those slight differences and adjustments and things that he had to make to get the flavor profile correct.
Yeah.
It was a really cool process. And I can't imagine all the math and everything involved with this to get it right. It's impressive.
Yeah, they had some of that in the Warden's family. The grandfather owned a bakery, and then when he passed away, the one took over from the family, took over the bakery. They sold it off, and the oldest daughter got all the recipes, and she started trying to make some of them. And to go from what the baker would need for, you're baking cookies, how many dozens and dozens and dozens of cookies you're baking, her trying to get it down where she could make a batch of a couple dozen, she couldn't get it to work, so she threw away a lot of the recipes. She's like, these don't work for home baking. And the rest of the family is like, oh my God, you were supposed to just get those to all of us. We can all make that decision, whether this works for us or not. So yeah, so that is true what you're saying. It's hard to batch back and forth, but yeah, it's a challenge that they've got for sure.
I got to do one of the Maker's Mark Private Select deals with Jim at Total Wine, and that one, it's kind of the same type of thing, but it was a lot of ground rules laid out, right? You had 10 parts and you had 5 different whiskeys and you needed 10 parts, and so it was, there was calculated percentages of what you wanted to add to it, but even that was interesting. It's like, well, this one's spicy, this one's chocolatey, how much.
But and even that too there's the wild card there, because it's going to go back in a barrel. Now, again, it's going to go in the barrel for a short time, but it does go back into a barrel. And
right.
Even though you're putting the exact amounts that you say need to go in there, there is another factor there that's not going to get. It's not whatever your blend was like that caused you to pick that out as the blend. It's not necessarily going to taste like that when it comes out in the bottle. So yeah,
right, because I don't think we got the actual barrels.
Right.
We had a barrel that was this finish and a barrel that was this finish, but I don't think that was.
Yeah. So how it worked was there's how many different staves I don't even know, but so what they do is they take a barrel. How many are there, Darren?
I think there's 10.
There's 10 staves that go in it, but you have 5 different staves to choose from.
Yes.
Right, because you're going to get 5. Yeah, so you have to decide how those go. But again, those staves then go into just regular Maker's Mark. So that program, Maker's Mark Private Select, is just Maker's Mark whiskey with those staves put in. Now you're getting to taste. What you're tasting is all whiskey that were all 10 staves were with the Mocha stave, or all 10 staves are with the French Cuvée stave. So then you're blending with that to try to get like how many of those then we get in there to make the whiskey that we're doing. So that's kind of how that one works. And then, but then ultimately you're just once again, you're not getting those barrels. They're not blending that whiskey at all. What they're doing is they're taking regular Maker's Mark, putting those staves in there that you say will make a great blend by the percent. It's percentage of staves in that example, not percentage of whiskey that's going into that. So yeah.
So my question about blending, and this
it's trending, by the way.
Yeah, it is trending. Would have been a perfect question to ask Beka. Like I might even ask her next time she's on a show in 3 months when she's comes back to our level.
Is it for her to make you a s'mores?
Yeah, it's for her to make me a s'mores. That's exactly it. No, but when you're blending something that you know is going to be a lower proof, do you proof all the whiskeys down to that proof and then start blending, or do you blend a really good cask strength version and then proof it down and see if it hits that proof point and if it's as good there as it is otherwise? Because there's a lot of these, like there's a lot of distilleries that do blends and batches and all of this, and there's a big difference between not at Neeley. Let's say like 107 proof and 100 proof. There's still a lot of flavor differences there. So I wonder what is the best way to go about that in blending. It's probably to proof everything down to where you're going to have it and then make it. But it's also probably a lot quicker, and you can do more batches without trying to get the proof exactly right by doing it at cask strength. So
I think it probably depends too, once again, on if you kind of know like a final product that you're like, hers is bottled and bond, so it's 100 proof, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas like in like the competition ones that we did during COVID, I just put everything in there, whatever the proof it was, cask strength. I think everything that we got was cask strength. Yeah. There was no water added to it.
Yep.
And then I tasted it, like obviously once all of the proofs were there, I had no idea what they were or even what the final product was, because I don't have the little tool to test it. But I tasted it at just like the regular like cask strength, and then I would add a little bit of water to like proof it down to get it to where I wanted it, where I thought it tasted the best.
Very cool. All right. Goeken had a problem with his cork on his whiskey.
Yeah.
It broke, huh?
Yeah. Tell Beka I need a damn s'mores and a cork.
Oh, God.
She did that intentionally because you asked her to make her a s'mores.
Yeah. I think it was all the heat from the Corvette motor in the back. You know, the motor's right in front of the whiskey.
It's because Royce didn't dance for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Royce's fault.
Royce's fault. So, yeah, there you go. Justine, please yell at Jim for that, because Beka would be yelling at him right now. So
I'm not Beka. Let's just
you're filling in for her. You have to step up and act like Beka. So yeah, yelling at people is part of your persona now. So yeah, there you go. Work on that. We'll get some classes and stuff like that. Yelling at people classes we'll find out if those exist out there. So
it's some CPE credits.
Yeah, exactly.
Taught by Gordon Ramsay, actually.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'll attend that with you.
Yeah,
I like Gordon Ramsay. So there you go. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Matt, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can reach me on LinkedIn and at my website, sabertoothcyber.com.
All right, Goeken.
I'm on Facebook at Jim Goeken and Instagram at Jimmy Big Hands.
Darren.
I can't. Okay. You can find me on Instagram at Deep Bourbon Adventures.
All right, Justine.
You can find me on Instagram at JA_Maze.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com, company website, abvnetwork.com. Check that one out. It's all out there. Also, check out abvbarrelshop.com. That's where we have information. You can sign up for our email distribution, see what classes we've got going on, what we have in inventory, so much more, abvbarrelshop.com. Justine, anything else to say before we get out of here?
Would just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. That helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. Also, if you like what we're doing, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV
Great job today, gang. Fartins. We'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Adios.
Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.